Hello everyone, welcome to this quick lecture on regenerative medicine. As you all might be aware what regenerative medicine is. Regenerative medicine is the way to intervene in a clinical situation where the patient might have lost or had a defective organ or tissue. By means of trying to replace the tissue with the tissue, either you generate a tissue from other sources and put it in, or you make the body, or you allow the body to regenerate its lost parts. Either way, all these kinds of approaches come under regenerative medicine. Whatever we are learning about stem cell biology or recombinant DNA technology, they both are highly integrated and for the purpose of regenerative medicine. Therefore, we will just have a look at some of the things and try to generate motivation and enthusiasm as to why we are studying this particular course. As you might be aware, the population is increasing drastically. We say somewhere around until 1900 or so, we are somewhere around this time or so. The average lifespan prior to that, or in the ancient times, it was about 38 degrees. People died a lot because of infections, and usually they died at very early age because of measles or other forms of viral or bacterial infections. Before they reached the age of 5, many people died. So the average lifespan was somewhere around 38 years old. Now if you see the current average age, it is about 60 years old or even higher, and that is all because of the technological advances that we have made and the way we have improved on our scientific method and the way we approach the problems. We discovered how we discovered antibiotics to counter bacterial infections. We discovered or invented the technology of vaccination that allowed many children to reach adulthood and so on. And when they reach the adulthood, there are two things. One is they will reproduce, and then they are going to live longer. Because of which, and there is one more thing, that we also use technology to produce more food, more of many other resources required to sustain human life. As a result, you see exponential increase in the human population, and you will see that it is more populated than any other species in the world. Because if you have seen this before, you might have known a word called as carrying capacity. Every ecosystem has a capacity to carry only a certain number of people. I mean, it is dependent on the resources it has, space, and many other stuff. So assume this is as a ecosystem, and you have I'm putting each of these as one organism. Assume that it can probably handle some 10 to 12 individuals in that space through means of food or other things. But we as humans, as a species, have surpassed our carrying capacity on this earth. We are now encroaching into other spaces. We are eating into the space and resources of other organisms, and that will cause a lot of problems. Every time there is population, there is pollution, and then population is going to be affected and has a lot of problems with that. Because of population, we will have several problems. One of the primary concerns is food. The other one is water, and then because of human activity, we also have climate change and so on. So food, we have less amount of additional fertile land, and also the fertile land that we have is sometimes contaminated and it is no longer useful, or the water is insufficient, and depleting groundwater is one of the issues that makes it a thing like that. And space, because we need to have space, we are encroaching into other forests, deforestation and so on, and we are creating high density zones such as metropolitan cities, and which is a hotspot for population pollution and so many other things. And then we also have health related issues that are pathogen associated. It could be of new diseases, it could be lifestyle diseases, and also importantly genetic disorders. For this we need to prioritize and empower something, the study of medicine. Of course, we can do many other things. We have to increase our food supply, we have to clean our water, many other things are there. But because in this course we are going to discuss about the medical, or trying to associate with regenerative medicine, we will focus a little bit on these things. In medicine, we have many things that we have something like diagnosis, to treat, to repair whatever parts are lost or defective, or to regenerate, help the body regenerate some parts of it. And those are some of the key areas that we are trying to look at. So what we will also do, why this is important, is I'm sure you may have seen some situations wherein you have issues like this. I think it is surprising and actually saddening that we find more genetic defects or developmental defects like this. An image, when we see a person like this, there are emotions of sometimes sadness, sometimes empathy, sometimes disgust, sometimes it troubles us. Imagine what the person is feeling who is having those things, the kind of social stigma associated with this. Not only that, is the person living the life or living the pain? That is also another issue. So it falls on all of us to ensure that we do not have any, we try to help these people and try to preserve the best genes of humans. There is another one. These people may have some other issues, and you can bring in a lot of philosophical things and so on, but we cannot have answers for a multitude of things. The children are born, the newly born children are born with developmental or genetic defects. The amount of cost incurred on treating these children, and the pain the child is going through, and the parents that have to spend the money and also bear the pain, it becomes twice or thrice the difficulty. So we need to generate a sense of passion based on empathy and sympathy to better our species, to ensure that people are living as much a healthy life as possible. Here is something. How many times have you seen these kinds of defects in animals? You don't see the kind of defects I have shown. You don't see those kinds of defects in animals. Why is that? You see some in animals like this. You see an extra limb growing on the neck of the cow. And is it a genetic defect or divine intervention? The one thing, this is different. You wouldn't see anything like this in a wild animal. This is a domesticated animal. Every species, through natural selection, has a way of refining the good qualities and eliminating the bad qualities. In terms of genes and structures, if there is any defect, those are usually eliminated. Nature is harsh. Nature is true in the sense what is good will survive and the others are not will not survive. We are humans, we have different things, we will see it in the end. But what is important that I want you to understand is that In wild animals, it's very rare that you see a genetic defect and it is surviving for a longer time. It is very unlikely that it will reach adulthood. Even if it reaches, it's unlikely that it is going to have any reproductive rights. And there is one more aspect that we have to look into, the way our lifestyle. In general, if you see any of the animals in either predator carnivores or herbivores, they have a simple principle of life. Hunt. Every time you're hungry, you have to hunt, and then eat, and then rest or sleep. This is the only daily routine they have other than reproduction. Hunt, eat, sleep. What is our routine? We eat because we are hungry, and that's normal. That is alright. We eat because we are bored. We eat highly processed food. We eat high calorie rich food. We keep eating almost every time. We eat more than we require. Me too, I eat more than I require. I eat because I'm bored sometimes. And then what is missing in our daily life is the proportion of hunt, that is the body exercise, the stretching of muscles. We don't have any of those things. So at this point, I would also encourage you all to pick up some sports. Ensure your body is moving and stretching itself to the maximum limits occasionally. You can do running for a long time or sprinting for a short time, but try to include some forms of exercise into your body. The principle is simple: hunt, eat, sleep. That has worked for millions of years for the animals. It's likely to work for us too. So we should. These days I'm trying to have a balance between the amount of food I ingest and the amount of output I have. And then we also. So these diseases, the lifestyle diseases, are one of the problems. We have obesity, and then we come to diabetes and many other problems, blood pressure, and so many other issues. So evolution is harsh in the sense what man selects. Why? What I want to say is, you see that animals have a way of preserving the quality of its species, and humans, we have increased in quantity, the number of people, individuals, but we are losing the quality of it. And let's have a look at it. There is a nice quote about from Charles Darwin: man selects only for his own good, nature only for that of the being which she tends to. Nature selects for the fittest. Men, we will have to look at that. So I hope you know about lions and humans. We will try to have a look at it. What do humans select for? What do lions select for? And when we try to come to this, we will have a small discussion. I hope you know how lions live, and I will try to draw small cartoons. Say for example, this is the lion, and then it is the alpha. Alpha is the king lion, and it has many other female lions in its pride. It's the pride of lions. There are a lot of females, and this is the male, and we'll put it as this, it's easier, and this, and this pride will give rise to some offspring. So you can have male, female, and so on. What does the male do? And now these this generation, the next generation, they grow, they all hunt together, they grow, and so on. And these males, they will want to come to the top, become the alpha, any of them. So before they reach a certain age, it is instinctive in the alpha male to kick out all these males out of the pride. The males are kicked out because they are going to be a threat to the main alpha here. So what these males do is they go around into they roam around territories, either in two or batches. They hunt, eat, grow bigger, and they try to become powerful. And assume they will go and will try to challenge a alpha of a different pride, or sometimes the same pride too. It depends on what is there. Assume that this is a different pride also. They will now come and attack the king. They will dethrone the king, unless the king is powerful. But usually what happens is the band of bachelors, they come in groups, and then they will one lion alpha can fight one lion, but facing two lions is difficult. So often what happens is this alpha is dethroned and is evicted from the pride. And if this alpha has new pups for the second generation, so let's see this alpha is evicted and a new alpha is established here. That is the new one that has come. The first thing that it does is kill all the cubs. If these females are having any small cubs, the alpha is going to decimate all these cubs. It will kill them all. And why does it do it? It's not hungry also to eat them. It's not doing it to eat. It is doing so because as long as the females are nursing their kids, the alpha will not get any mating chance with the females. And also for the alpha, because the cubs are not his own, it's waste of its resources to help them. So instinctively the new alpha will kill all these cubs, and within a day or 3 or 4 days maybe, the females will get ready to mate with this new alpha, and they are doing it to have their own reproduction. Reproduction is one thing that is what all living organisms do. So they are all instincts. It's not the measure of good, bad, morality and all those stuff. And that is how things happen in majority of the species. There are other types of strategies, but the point I'm saying here is the most powerful always get the chances to breed more. That's how a species is kept strong and the quality of the species is maintained. What happens in humans? In humans, it is say we'll just put it as male and a female. And why do they marry? Yes, they should be healthy, and they should next be wealthy, right? So health is fine. That is to show how strong your genes are, how good your genes are. Of course, yes, there is also strength. The physical strength is also important. That is also sometimes considered. But you have seen in many movies, even the people who do not have proper fitness, because the wealth is very high in proportion, they do get a chance to mate and reproduce. So there are two inventions that human race has come up with, and that the first one is money, and the second one is marriage. Because of marriage, we don't have any more fighting. We don't have infighting within intra-species fighting. We have reduced all the violence that the lions have in this location. We are now much more peaceful, that everybody gets to reproduce. But then the problem is that because the fitness in animals, you see that the fitness is on physical fitness, biological fitness. It can be physical fitness as well as neurological. But in humans, it is fitness is shifted from biological fitness to social fitness, and social fitness requires lots of money. And here is, for example, this is one generation. This person has earned a lot of money, and then but his children are not, if assume that one of his child is not very healthy, but because the wealth that this person A has earned or amassed is transferred to the child, inherited, B inherits the wealth of A, doesn't need to work so hard to find a mate, right? Here we are losing the quality of the body, the quality of the genes, and that is one of the reasons how bad genes may propagate within the population, especially in humans. So this is right. So it's important that there are ways of how there is mate selection in humans, but often it is overridden by the social fitness more than the biological fitness. So there are problems with population. There is one is genetic defects, which could be because of bad inheritance that we have. You would be surprised to know that at least there are around more than 4,000 or 5,000 genetic defects. In some generations, you will not find even one type of even one healthy individual who may have good, all perfect genes. Again, that is contextual and subjective. But here is something that I would want to discuss, that is to show that there will be problems, genetic defects. Sometimes accidents will happen. If accidents have happened, there are ways. Here is a person who has lost a finger, right? A finger that is lost, and the finger cannot be replaced. It cannot regrow by itself. Humans, we do not have as much as what some of the animals have it. This is the lost part, and there is no way that it is going to regrow. So there are two problems. One is functional. Function of this is to put on it's a ring finger, maybe that will be a one of the functions. Otherwise, the ring finger also aids in gripping and adds a lot of strength that way. There is another one. If I didn't have the ring finger or anything, would I have the confidence to go and show my finger as such? Or is there a point that I will try to hide it? Often what I would do is I will try to hide that, and that because it is about social stigma. There is a defect, there is any kind of abnormality, people are going to stare at us. So one is functional problem, the other one is form problem. So we need to address two parts when we are trying to forge regenerative medicine. We need to understand that, well, here is the same thing. These are war veterans, if I understand correctly, and some people have lost feet, and then people are limbs, and some people there are robotic ways. Say in the previous this finger, this is a good substitute for form, but it is absolutely non-functional. I don't think it can perform what the normal ring finger may have to perform. So here the prosthetic here in this case is is substituting the form factor. But in this case, you see that they're trying to build some robotic arms which are functional, but then they don't look like they don't have the form factor. Form and function, if you want to have, there is only one way out, that is to replace an organ with an organ, not a prosthetic or so. So there is one more point that I would want to also discuss. That is, if you see the rate of fertility rate, the fertility rate is falling down rapidly. In 1955 or so, it is somewhere around here. Rate is around 5, and now we are reaching. It is somewhere around. We are here, or so. It is reaching. It is gone down. The word fertility has gone down. More number of people are unable to give rise to new offspring. It doesn't mean they're not able to produce gametes. Maybe they are defective gametes, they are immotile, or the woman may have problems conceiving and holding on to the embryo, sometimes impregnation, and sometimes birth, defective growth, and many things are involved in this. And the one goal that we all have, all organisms have, is to reproduce. And some people, if they can't reproduce, they do have their own social stigma again. Everywhere we have social stigma. People ask, how many children do you have? I don't have any. Oh, I'm sorry. And that kind of response does cause a lot of psychological trauma to many individuals. So the goal is to regenerate limbs and to be able to make the tissues and organs which have the form and function to the individual. So here is a nice picture. If you have to choose one of these, which one is full of prosthetics, functional and all, but the other one is the actual one. I think we don't know. Humans might prefer. Some of you might be thinking, okay, robot is better than the humans. It's all subjective. So there are a lot of genetic disorders, and what should we do for that? The first one is, should we keep on treating the people for lifelong? To suppose they are having defect in producing an amino acid, should we keep supplementing it lifelong? That's an easier one. But if there is something drastic than that, then how do we make that person feel good, or make him healthier, or have a happy living? Or as soon as the child is born, and if there is a genetic defect detected, should we go for gene therapy? Or if we know that the embryo is already having genetic defect, should we eliminate those embryos? Or should we make repairs in the gametes prior to fertilization so that they will become they will give rise to healthy humans? So these are some of the strategies that are there, approaches that how we can make humans have better living, that especially in concern with genetic disorders. And ethics is an important one. Here is, while we are speaking all these things, we are humans. We cooperate. We are special in many ways. We have humanity. It is a altogether different thing. We give away some things. We are selfish, yes. Every organism is selfish, but we give more than any other species gives to their own things. We give to. We cooperate more among ourselves than we fight, because we are social beings and we need to be that. And there is also, you might be surprised to know, see, if there is a generation here, these two are a pair, and they will take care of kids. Every animal does that. Every animal does that. Parental care is a normal instinct that has. What is surprising about humans is they can also take care of the previous generations, sometimes even generations above them, even if they are not useful. Not that everybody is doing, but you won't find that in any other species as much as we do in humans. Say, this is our instinct to take care of our next generation or further generations, down the generations. but humans can also take care of generations above, and that is how we are special in that sense. As a species, those are some of the special characteristics we have. And we have more sympathy, more empathy. Not that everybody, but I hope you got the point. We can take care of the weak even if they can't provide us. And one of the motivations for this whole course is, or our education, is to provide and make something to the needy, to the unwell people, so that they will lead a better living. And that is how we keep on spreading the positive image and positivity across our species to have a better living. In the Origin of Species, I think you have something like this. One general law by Darwin, if you can see it here, leading to the advancement of all organic beings, namely, multiply, vary, let the strongest live and the weakest die. And if you can see it clearly, in humans we go against this law. We defy many other things, we do many other bad things as an individual or as a group, but we also have some fantastic qualities where we can take care of the weak, we can take care of those who cannot reciprocate what we did. We have a lot of altruism that we can do as well. So we are reaching the end of this lecture, and I would want to reflect on some of the things. We are all here to have a healthy, happy and long life, and we are trying to provide the same things that we desire to other people, to help them be healthy, to allow them to have their own exercise their reproductive rights, and to be able to do what we want to do, when we want to do, how we want to do, and where we want to do. That's free will. I mean, of course, it's subjective that we are not tramping onto anybody else's free will. There are neutral grounds where we should do that. So, if we want to master our this particular course, we need some prerequisites. This one, you can think of it as cell biology, and this one is something like molecular biology. You have cell and molecular biology that forms the basis. Of course, biochemistry and many other things are there, but you can think of it. Cell and molecular biology is the basis for it, upon which there are two important applied sciences which also include some basics. That will be stem cell biology, and the next one is rDNA. rDNA is more of a technology, and this whole thing, you can say, will make what is regenerative medicine. Right? So understand that we have to review and recollect a lot of principles of cell biology. Fundamentals is fine, and the same thing with molecular biology, and then we will get to stem cell biology, and we will use recombinant DNA technology to make, if you want to make a cell of one particular cell type, you need to use one or more of these subjects. So try to brush up this area, and I will try to help you with stem cell biology and recombinant DNA technology as and when required. I hope this is useful. Please reach out if you need any kind of help. We can always get this together. So we have to remember the why we need to do this. We need to know what all things we need to consider in terms of some ethical issues. For example, every time you do anything, ask this question: can it be done any easier? Can it be done with as less pain as possible? Can it be provided to everybody? Is it applicable to every strata of socioeconomics? That is what we need to consider when we are doing ethical part of it. And then there are technical part of it. So we need more young people trying to think clearly without any bias, and with lot more passion and enthusiasm, so that we will all be able to find cues and spread happiness and positivity. Thank you very much.